Good morning, everybody. It's Mike. Thanks for joining me this morning. You know, I woke up this morning more optimistic than I have been in months, excited about the week ahead, because I'm more convinced than I've ever been that we're about to experience 6 months of a robust recovery, at least as it relates to real estate. And I know that many of you that have went through the troubles, the 2008 recession, the Great Recession as they call it, where real estate was the cause and was the anchor that held the economy back from growing. This isn't going to be like that. There's every anticipation that real estate is actually going to be the engine that leads us out and through this recovery. So when I woke up this morning, I sat down and I spent some quiet time and I put together a 12-step plan to rule the recovery. And a little tag onto that, inside a 40-hour work week. So I've got a 12-step plan that I'm going to show you this week, and it can all be implemented inside of a 40-hour work week. Before I start, this isn't for everybody, okay? Everybody doesn't want to rule the recovery. Everybody is not ready to surge and lead right now. That's okay. Some people, you just don't need to. Others, you don't want to. For some, they don't feel right about it now. That's okay. That's one of the great benefits of being self-employed as you are. You don't have to do anything that you don't feel comfortable doing, and I'll be the last person that tries to convince you to do that. This program this week, so for those people, you don't want to rule the recovery, you don't want to lead a surge in Atlanta real estate, you don't feel comfortable with it for whatever personal reasons you have, or you just simply don't need to. That's fine. This program this week isn't for you. This is for those who want or need to rule the recovery. Okay? So I'm going to give you my 12-step plan. I just wanted to make sure that you all understood that I'm not talking to everybody right now, and that's okay. There's no judgment assigned to that. For those of you that aren't interested in participating, just drop off. Okay, if you stayed on, then here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you 3 steps each day, 4 days this week for the 12-step plan. Number 1, you've heard it from me before, but I'm going to start with it because if you don't do this, you're not going to rule the recovery. Number 1, create and commit to a defined weekly schedule. Now, I've given a 1-hour allotment for that. If you haven't done it for this week yet, stop what you're doing after this call. Take 1 hour of quiet time, strategic planning time, and plan your week. Plan your week every day, even the days that you may not be planning to work, so to speak, but every day of the week, 1 hour increments, specific activities. Treat each activity as an appointment. Put your personal life in there first. I do. Plug your personal life into the schedule first. Create and then commit to your weekly schedule. If you skip this step, folks, the rest of it's going to start to fall apart on you. You're going to fall victim to the law of good intentions. You're going to say at the end of the week, wow, I had all these things that I was passionate about getting done this week that I knew that if I did them would really help my business surge ahead and help me lead the recovery, but I didn't do them. Why? I got busy, I got distracted, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you'll say. That weekly schedule defined in 1 hour increments will help you get the other 11 points done. Okay? I need you to work with me on here. If you skip this step, and having a concept of your schedule in your brain, that's not going to cut it. Okay? Now, If you have it on paper, that's okay. I'm a paper guy. If you want to do it on your phone, I don't care. If you're using some kind of Google Docs, I don't care, as long as it's put down someplace and you don't just keep it in your brain. Number 2, we now need to shift our messaging. And here's how I'm going to urge you to shift it. Don't show me the picture of your customers at a closing. I don't want to see that right now. Don't show me a picture of your new listing. I don't want to see that right now. I want to see how you got those home buyers through to a closing during a pandemic. I want to see how you did that safely so that they felt comfortable, the sellers of properties felt comfortable, and you felt comfortable. How did you do that in a safe, responsible way? Tell me about your process, your protocols for doing that. And stop showing me the picture of a husband and wife in a real estate attorney's office holding up a stupid picture frame. Stop doing that. Start telling me the story. That's intellectual laziness that you got away with last year. Because the market was so good, you could do horrible stuff like that and get away with it. You can't anymore. So now your second tip for this week, your strategy, is you're going to shift your messaging, and now you're going to start to tell stories about how you're able to take this home, put it up for sale, and maintain everybody's safety. Tell me how you're going to do that. That's the story that I want to hear. And number 3 for today. So let me go back for a second. Number 1, creating commit to a weekly schedule. You get 1 hour for that for this week. Shift your messaging to how to. You get 1 hour of planning time for this week on how you're going to create and craft your message. And number 3, 30 minutes today. 30 minutes a day spent building your database in your CRM. Because as you've seen over the last month, hopefully you've seen this, how important your database really is. Because without that, it's going to be hard for you to get whatever message you craft out to enough people consistently enough to make an impact. So yes, in your schedule, because you're going to create that, right? Find a 30-minute block of time every day to work on building your database. Maybe it's adding more people. Maybe it's making the information available with the people that you have in there more robust. We'll worry about interacting with them in a later step. But if you don't have the database built, it won't matter. Hopefully you've spent the last 8 weeks doing that. Hopefully you have. If you haven't, you've got some catch up to do. So your first 3 tips to rule the recovery cover a 5-hour block of time for this week. Create and commit to a weekly schedule. You've got 1 hour to do that. Create and craft your new message for the recovery. You've got 1 hour to do that. Spend 30 minutes per day on building your database. I'm going to round that up and give you 3 hours. So we've created our first 5-hour block of time in your schedule for this week. If you'll come join me tomorrow morning, we're going to keep building on this as we go through a complete 12-step plan to rule the recovery. And that's what will allow you to go out and make it happen for yourself today.